Hello, this is ArtGainz, and I hope we're live. I'm here with Aaron Doudy, also known as RPGrizzly, and we're going through a few news articles. I guess we should do a brief introduction of ourselves. I'm ArtGainz. If I didn't mention that already, I am an aspiring science fiction and fantasy author. I have several different channels on YouTube. I have an art channel. I should have a vineyard channel soon.
Mm.
And I have a culture channel. This video is not being hosted at the moment on the culture channel, but it will be re-uploaded onto the culture channel. So make sure to subscribe there. I'm streaming on this channel right now because we have more subscribers here, but hopefully I'll get more on that channel as well. And I guess I'll turn it over briefly to Aaron to introduce himself.
Oh yeah, hi, another writer over here. Father, crazy person. Have a Kickstarter up on Kickstarter, obviously. Tales from the Dead Sector, Gods of Science and Sin. Last week, check it out. It's a great book. Paladin's Death, lots of fun stuff. Have a couple YouTube channels. We'll leave links. You know you want to join. Not my
All right.
best, but there we go.
All right. Can you just try turning your gain down one more time?
Oh, nothing like modern Microsoft issues. My lord.
I don't
There
know.
we go.
Hopefully this we're more balanced out this time. The last time we did this, we were quite imbalanced. Oh, right. Now let me see if I can pull up this article and share my screen here properly. Let's try. Is this right? No, that doesn't look right.
Oh, we should say we're going to be doing a theme of boomer bashing today. One of my favorite topics.
That should be good.
Yep.
All right, so we should be showing the article here. Do you want to read it or should I?
Go ahead. It's your channel. You know you want to.
All right, this is from Vox Populi. Sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce that properly. I believe it's Italian, Vox Populi.
Latin.
Article from Vox Day called The Boomers' Last Boom. What's the date on this? June 15th, so a few days ago. I find it tremendously amusing and absolutely satisfying to watch how the boomers are struggling to grasp that the world is going to continue on without them. The new Stephen King movie, The Life of Chuck, may well serve as the last will and testament of that most wicked generation. And now there's a quotation from something. If there's a useful rough division of King's stories, it's between the ones that describe a world of horrors on one hand, and the ones that consider what to do about being in a world of horrors on the other. This isn't a clean distinction, certainly, nor does it map cleanly to downbeat versus upbeat. Sometimes the straight-up horrors are told with dark humor, as in Survivor type, a gnarly little story about a doctor who gets marooned on a desert island and starts eating himself. I have not heard of that one.
That's Stephen King in a nutshell.
Yeah.
He's a little bit disturbed.
Yeah. A King story, I'm still quoting, has an element of warning. This could happen to you, says Stephen King, as the doctor eats his foot, or as a finger comes out of a bathroom drain, or as a haunted car, or a pandemic, or a vampire, or a rabid dog appears. This could happen to you. Still quoting. But many of his stories have a paradox at their cores. He believes in menace and evil, and in the brutality of a world that kills kids, and helpless people, and good people. He is not a horror writer who punishes the foolish above others. At the same time, he writes with a deeply humane central thesis, which is that in light of all those monsters, you are blessed to have in your life at least your own resilience and the company of other people. The Stand is not really about the flu after all. It is about creating a new community and choosing to make sacrifices for it. It is only superficially about the clown. Really, it's about fear and trauma, and especially about strength in numbers. These are what you might call the what now stories. You know the world is full of pain. What now? The worst has happened. What now? You are fully aware of your own mortality. What now? Now this is Vox Day writing again. And as a social galactic-er, that's the that's a social media platform which I and the Dowdies are on. An SGer posed the question: can you guess the shocking twist from Boomer Stephen King's latest movie adaptation? Possibly the most boomer sentiment ever. That's a pretty obvious hint. My guess: the world ends with Chuck. My goodness. And of course, I was correct. This is Vox Day writing, as I confirmed when I asked DeepSeek about the theme of King's novella. Now here's DeepSeek. Life as a universe. Chuck's existence literally sustains the world. When he dies, reality dies with him. Death's inevitability. The reverse structure mirrors how life is understood only in hindsight. Legacy. The billboards. Thank you, Chuck, suggest even ordinary lives have cosmic significance. King blends horror, fantasy, and melancholy in this existential fable, leaving much open to interpretation. The story's emotional core lies in Chuck's quiet acceptance of his role, both as a man and as the engine of a fleeting world. Okay, back to Vox writing. Quelle surprise! It's not an existential fable. It's a quintessential boomer fable. I genuinely wonder who was more shocked that Jesus Christ didn't return during their lifetime, the apostles or the average Christian boomer. I've never forgotten the declaration of a female boomer who admitted that she didn't know when Jesus would return amidst fire and sword, but was certain it would be during her lifetime. Oh, say, do those fading old boomers still boom as their sunset descends in the fullness of doom?
I don't know what's more conceited, that guy desperately trying to find meaning in Stephen King's work, or the boomers so set that they are the apocalypse when they die.
Yeah. Isn't it fascinating to observe that regardless of what their religion or their beliefs happen to be, so many boomers tend to believe exactly the same thing about reality ending with them? End of article. That reminds me, I read another story that was like that a while ago. I believe it was by the same guy who wrote 2001. Who is that?
Is that one of those apocalypse movies? The flood one?
No, the Space Odyssey. That guy,
Oh.
Arthur C. Clarke. Yeah, he wrote a novel about. I don't know. I think it's the elite create some alternate reality that's sustained by some woman, and when she dies, the alternate reality ceases to exist. I can't remember what it's called, but that sounds vaguely similar to this Stephen King movie.
Sounds as pretentious as well.
Yeah.
Not to dunk on Space Odyssey, but I will, because boomers are obsessed with movies like that. That movie's dumb. Have you bothered to watch the whole thing?
I did, yeah. The 2001, yeah.
Yeah. It's evolution, man. Just going to the next stage.
Can you try? Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt again. Can you turn your gain down again? You're totally blowing out the.
Something about our system hates me today. What the heck?
Okay, we'll try that.
All right. This is very professional. You have no idea how professional this is. Like the professional who's gonna bury all the boomers up to their pillow day.
Does your gain just keep automatically creeping back up again?
Yeah, every time we adjust it, every single time.
Okay, I'll turn you guys down and see if that works for us.
Trying to not be insulted. He's turning us down, wife.
Well, it's just that we have to be balanced. You know, life's all about balance. You know.
When did you become a Buddhist, you boomer?
you You reach to negative 20 decibels, and I'll reach to negative 20 decibels, and hopefully we'll balance each other out.
No, one of us should be positive and one of us should be negative. That's true balance. Oh man, yeah, that article always cracks me up, especially if you know anything about some of Stephen King's work. Like I've never been able to finish any of his books,
Uh-huh.
but just because, not only because if you dropped it on your foot, like
Yeah.
China would feel it and all of their feet would break as well because of their girth, not because of their actual value. But to give people a little understanding here, I read Dune in 2 days in college.
Right. That's pretty fast.
Yeah, I started reading The Hobbit in second grade. Long books do not scare me, but Stephen King novels, man. There's a reason why a writer should avoid getting high when he's writing.
Aha. Partaking of the booger sugar.
Like it's really funny when they try to get a lot of understanding out of his work because most of it's just he's high on crack and letting demons run the show.
Ah.
Like, give you a concept here. In It, the villain is a space spider.
Right.
Guises itself as a clown. But the movie leaves out the part where there's a counter to him that's a space turtle.
Yep.
So it's a cosmic battle between a space spider and a space turtle.
Yeah, I remember something about that.
And it cracks me up. But also the where they had like the stand and all that. There's an orgy with the children in that one, and nobody calls out guys like Stephen King for that stuff.
That's an It, right?
That's an It.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have heard about that. I haven't read that one. I think I bought it, and then I heard about that scene. I was like, I'm not gonna read this.
No. There's a reason why it's literally called after the stupid Freudian nonsense about the id and all the rest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some Christians latch on. I'm going under the weeds. Some Christians latch on to that because they think, like the Bible talks about the body and all that, but that's not what it's talking about. It's basically Freud just trying to excuse everyone's sexual proclivities.
Proclivities, yeah.
That's one. And if that's not just a wonderful metaphor for boomers, I don't know what is. Let's excuse all the sexual depravity. No wonder they love Stephen King.
I heard a strange story about Freud. I think it's probably true. I think I heard it from Stefan Molyneux. He was talking about the what was actually going on with Stephen Freud not Stephen Freud. What's his name? Whatever Freud's name is. This is very embarrassing. Can't remember Freud's first name.
No, you don't really need to know it.
Whatever it is.
You won't know who he is, and that's great.
Anyway, so what we know Freud for today is basically a bunch of pseudoscience that basically says that everyone wants to engage in illicit relationships with their own family members, right? And that's obviously not true, but that was what Freud tried to popularize. But actually, that's not entirely accurate about what was going on with Freud, apparently, because it is true that every single one of his patients had incestuous fantasies, right? It's just they weren't a representative sample of the general population. They were a representative sample of the elite class. Right.
Oh, it's even worse than that because he was like having affairs with all these people too. So that's part of the reason why they were having all this weird illicit stuff. And if anything, we do, put on my conspiracy hat again. I love it. The elites have always been known for their incestuous nonsense.
Yeah. So apparently what he originally did was he tried to get his findings published, which involved I think it involved his basically I think he came to the conclusion that there was a 100% correlation between insanity and incest, or a 100% correlation between insanity and sexual sin. But because the elite control the publishing industry, they wouldn't publish that. So what he did was he just modified it slightly to make it sound like, oh, everyone's has incestuous fantasies, and they were okay with publishing that. Just they weren't okay with exposing themselves as a bunch of freaks.
And pedophiles?
Pardon me?
Who write, freaks and pedophiles who write about spiders and turtles convincing children to do bad things?
Yep, exactly.
Oh man, I'm trying to be less crass lately, and then I get to those moments. I'm like, how do I even say that?
Yeah.
Be funny and not crass. I'll find a way. I need more vocabulary. Man,
You need to finish War and Peace.
we should probably actually talk about the article.
Yes.
Yep.
We accidentally, but part of the reason why we did bring up Freud is because boomers were obsessed. They were obsessed with that guy for the longest time. They had him on all their stupid psychology textbooks and all the stuff. Why? Because they were the sex-free movement, baby, all the time. And it cracks me up how they try to change the narrative when they're older to be on whatever side they feel like being on. And try to obscure the blame that their sex-free movement has led to young boys cutting off their balls.
All right.
Was it because I said I wouldn't be crass and then I said balls? That's what it was. Gosh dang it, man. But when it comes to the article, it highlights a certain aspect about the boomer condition. That the world is so centered around them that when they're gone, the world must cease to exist. It can't keep on moving without them. It's something that we see a lot when they work overtime to spend all the inheritances for their kids, or just do triple, quadruple bypass mortgages on their houses just to have another cruise before they die. Right? In their minds, I think it's almost subconscious. They want the world to die with them. And so they sabotage everything around them almost subconsciously. Like we've seen it. Like I heard of some boomers who were going to sell some blueberry bushes because they were in the way of the property they were on. And they were like fully grown, a bunch of bushes. A guy came and said, hey, I'll transplant them. It'll be fine. I'll do all the work for you. You don't have to pay me. It's great because these are really valuable. You know how blueberries are really hard to grow and take a lot of time. And by the time he came back, they had just destroyed all the blueberries to get rid of them.
Oh, I've heard stories like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we all have these stories. Like, what you can't say that it was financially motivated because the guy would have taken them off their hands for free, and they didn't sell them. So, what was the motivation to destroy the blueberries without letting the guy come in who would transplant them for them? Impatience. I mean, still
spite.
Right? And I think it really comes down to this whole the world ends with us mentality that's like in the back of their brains. Like Jesus will certainly come back before I die mentality.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh man.
Are Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins boomers? They must be. They're the guys who wrote Left Behind.
Just everybody, yeah, that sounds like them a lot. Especially the whole watering down of all the spirituality of that. Like, oh, it's not a actual beast that comes out of the ocean. It's just a really political guy. Yeah. It's just a really, really white dude. Don't trust those guys.
Well, one of those like the theology in those things, I think, is quite terrible. But
to be honest, I never got through any of them. My dad gave me a couple of those books. I read a few chapters. I went check it out.
There was one that Billy Graham made. It was called "A Thief in the Night," and I believe it was instrumental in my mom's conversion.
Hmm.
I don't know how instrumental it was, but it was involved somehow. Of course, eventually we figured out that the theology was a bit suspect, but it was at least effective in making her fear the wrath of God anyway.
Yeah, at the same time, any of the those old fire and brimstone sermons probably could have done the trick. Like the classic. Did they make you read that old like Puritan?
Sinners in the hand of an angry God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one. They made me read that in school. That's funny.
yeah. We are all dangling
Oh my
on
god.
gossamer threads above the fires of hell, and at any moment God might snip the thread,
He
plunging us
just
down
wants to.
forever. Yeah. I read somewhere
Uh,
that Jonathan Edwards, he's the guy who preached that sermon originally. That sort of style of preaching was popular until one of Jonathan Edwards' cousins committed suicide because he was so terrified.
oh dear.
He was like, I might as well kill myself before I commit even more sin and damn myself even more. So
Oh my.
after that, that style of preaching sort of went out of
Petered out.
vogue. Jonathan
Oh, it
Edwards
did.
stopped preaching that way. That's what I heard.
And I'll be fair and say it did start one of the Great Awakenings.
Yes.
Sure. It's one of those things. Like one of these days, we should do a stream on the Salem witch trials because
Hmm.
a lot of people don't know there was a lot of witchcraft around this whole Salem bit, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, during those witch trials, all the witches like from the east went into the Appalachian Mountains, and it's completely crafted all of the creepy stories from around there. Like you'll be surprised, or you'll hear something about a Bigfoot or something, and then people, yeah, and then there was the witch cabin down there where one of the people from Salem came, and there's been weird crap there ever since.
Yep.
It's one of the most interesting facts of my life, and there's all this weird folklore and demonic activity around it. Sorry, segues, but it is actually still connected since the boomers and their satanic panic nonsense that forced everyone to pretend like
Both them and then their Woodstock stuff.
that, right? The combination of wanting to have all the sex and rock and roll they wanted, and then wanting to pretend that the devil doesn't exist and that the elites would never have a bad idea in their heads like Epstein Island,
Hmm.
right? Well, excuse me. They want one group of elites to be bad, and then their group of elites to be good. Is the way to look at it. Like if you look at the Vietnam War, right?
Yep.
The idea that they're all bad just seems to go way over their heads.
Yeah. All right. I think we should we can move on to topic number 2 now.
Ooh, ooh.
Let's see here. So, can you see that? I guess I'm going to read it out loud, so it doesn't matter if it's too small for you to read. But okay, so we have here an article from the Daily Mail published July the 5th. The title is "Girls Should Be Mobilized to Stop Boys Becoming a Waste of Space," says Peer Lord Blunkett, as he urges them to explore more from relationships. All right. So down here we have a picture of Lord Blunkett, and I can't imagine a face I would like to slap more.
A very smackable face.
This boomer thinks he knows what is wrong with the world and how to fix it. So that's
He does have a very swarmy face, doesn't he?
yeah. So let's read this article now. Girls should be mobilized to stop boys becoming unemployable wastes of space, Lord Blunkett has said. The former Labor Education Secretary said schools should empower girls to expect more from the boys they have relationships with. It would stop boys taking it as read or taking it as given that girls will be interested in them even with a poor work ethic and attitude, he said. Like, this is so out of touch. He thinks
I,
he's gonna he's psychoanalyzed the problem with young men today, and he has descended from the clouds to 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 tell us how to fix modern society.
yes,
And it's
his
like,
feminists and modern women have such low standards. they don't
yeah,
they don't demand the 6 foot tall alpha
yeah.
blonde hair, blue eyes.
This is so stupid. I don't even really know how to respond to it because he's like, yeah, yeah, boys are not stepping up to the plate. They're refusing to participate in modern society. And the solution to this is to get the women to reject the men for for not participating in society. It's like,
I
um,
seem to remember a certain humorous comedy of Greek proportions where all the women said they'd refuse to have sex till the men stopped making war. And I think
yeah,
we have a good analogy here.
yeah. I mean,
Didn't work well then.
it's like, yeah, the problem with society, you see, is that the men, the young men, the boys, they're refusing to be slaves to the state and slaves to the women. So we have to fix that. We have to shame the men into being willing slaves of the state and slaves of the women.
And the women need to prostitute themselves towards the men to make them do it. It's very
Yeah,
important.
and like I like another way I heard someone talking about this was like, um, these girls, the young women today, they don't care what their peers think. They're on TikTok. They're getting attention from men all over the world. The boys in their classes are invisible to them. They they they're not thinking, Joe over there. He's really good looking. I want to go out with him. No, they're posting pictures of themselves on the internet and getting attention from alpha males all over the planet and
Wannabe
getting
alpha males. Let's be honest here.
I guess so, yeah. Getting money
Indian
from people on the
guru.
internet.
Now, let's face it, the simps aren't exactly your
Yeah.
your high quality males. In fact, I think it's very likely that this fellow who wrote who stated this is probably simping himself, as we know.
Yeah. All right. So, continuing with the article. The prospect of being shunned by girls would be an incredibly powerful incentive to prevent boys from failing in life. Lord
Really?
Blunkett pointed out that many boys try to copy influencers such as Andrew Tate instead of striving to become useful citizens. To combat this, Lord Blunkett, 78, suggests schools promote positive masculinity to form the fathers of the future. He told the Mail on Sunday, "We need to mobilize the girls to ensure that they get the message across that if you're a waste of space, we don't want to know you." Lord Blunkett, who grew up in poverty, addressed concerns about the underachievement of boys. Like, yeah, it's like, this is so dumb. Like I said, I don't even really know how to respond to this.
This has been your standard propaganda podcast from the Iron Curtain. Please clap,
Yes,
and the last one who doesn't will be shot.
yeah, it's like this British society, it's collapsing in uh, uh under the weight of utter degeneracy, and this guy is like, "Oh, the problem is the boys aren't stepping up to the plate."
But it's such this boomer thing too, because it's blaming the entire younger generation, saying the girls need to have higher standards. So what's that saying, right? Girls are picking crappy boys. They're picking the deadbeats and whatnot. And then the boys are all deadbeats, right? Not as good as my generation.
Yeah,
Typical kind of undercurrent there. This guy sounds like he's either I mean, also his job, right? Education during the last 50 years has been one of the most useless occupations on the planet. He's going to sit there and say that young men today, they don't work hard enough as he had the most cushiest job in existence.
Yeah, exactly.
for the last 50 years. And the idea that women don't already ignore men without motivation is probably one of the silliest things I've ever heard.
Yep.
It's it's plain unless you have some serious game or some sigma mentality, women are automatically ignoring like lazy guys anyway. It's just like there's something visceral about a woman walking in on a guy. Like even if she knows he's worked hard, there's something in a woman that does not like.
I don't see you working. That's me. I'm working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah. Like I don't know if you guys saw it. I know my mom, if she didn't see work, she just assumed you weren't working at all.
Ah. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, not to throw too much shit at her, but she did let the computer do all the homeschooling and didn't know what the heck was going on with that. So
And then say
Hmm.
homeschooling is so
it's
hard.
so hard letting that computer do the work. Oh man.
Hmm. All right, continuing with the article.
It got really awkward there. What I do?
It's not about
Okay.
you.
Gosh dang it, I'm a boomer all of a sudden.
Lord Blunkett continues. Boys have always performed worse than girls at GCSE, that's some sort of standardized testing, and are less likely to enter university. Boys need to be shown the link between hard work and a good future in their early teens before they switch off and see it as not for them, he said, adding that boys who want a relationship with young women should be shown the need to step up. It's like totally ignoring the fact that modern Western society has like rejected young men, told them that you're worthless, you don't have a place. You should step back and let foreigners and women take your place. Totally ignoring this.
It's also a complete lie in modern society. They don't care how much you work. They'll just use you and then abuse you and then drop you off the other side.
Yep.
Like modern corporations will just use and abuse and say sayonara. So the idea that just working hard is somehow going to save you, no.
Yep.
You got to work hard in the right ways. Oh,
This year, the National Education Union revealed a rise in boys becoming radicalized by online incel culture and Andrew Tate, a self-professed misogynist YouTuber. Often these pupils become disengaged in school and develop dark views about women. I really don't know how influential Andrew Tate is. I mean everybody knows that he's a pimp. He's a vile pimp. But
my personal favorite is how a lot of these like Tate guys and whatnot have been exposed for basically hiring hookers to
yep.
pose with them. So it looks like they have a bunch of women around them.
Yeah, like Andrew Tate, he's a chinless wonder.
I mean, and it's not to say there's no truth in what he says, but he's one of those classic grifter guys who just does a little bit of truth and then just off the edge.
Yeah.
But young guys, they just grasp onto the little that edge of truth and then feel out that their teacher hates it and then just go wild with it because why not? I mean, if you can anger your teacher to like, put yourself in the shoes of an 8th grader. If I get my teacher mad enough that he rants all class long, we don't get homework.
Yep, exactly.
Right. I'm not saying I did that in college a couple times too. Okay, I definitely did that in college a couple times too, but it's not my fault that they were so easily.
Yeah.
Feminist professors, man.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Putting a feminist professor in logic class. That was hilarious. Oh, man.
Lord Blunkett said, "We're going to have to engage every mechanism, and one of those is for girls to say, 'Boys, we're not going to have anything to do with you unless you start engaging with your own future, because otherwise we'll be carrying you.'" I think society will collapse before that starts happening.
This is true.
Yeah, that sends a message to young men who feel like victims. It's your own future in your hands. It's not somebody else's fault you're a waste of space. It's yours. Okay. So,
hey, Boomer, have you looked in the mirror lately, Mr. Waste of Space? Where's those euthanation pods in Canada? I think I gotta, nice waste of space over here.
Hmm. Yeah, let me see if I can segue into this related issue. So, like, there's all of these red pill channels on YouTube about uh, we're relatively how do I say this? So there's these channels where men make fun of women for not being able to take accountability and for not understanding like why they're not getting married and stuff like that.
I remember watching a couple of your streams on these videos a while back.
Yeah. Well, the 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 thing I was let's I'm losing my train of thought. So anyway, the point of a lot of these videos that these YouTubers make, and uh, it's basically something along the lines of things are not going to get better until women start taking accountability or something like that. And I don't know if I'm articulating this very well, but it's like uh, they don't realize it, but they're still kind of approaching the topic from a feminist perspective. Like they're still treating men and women like equals. They're basically saying if men and women are equal, then the women really shouldn't be surprised that they're getting the outcomes that they're getting. Like they're like when they spend their 20s partying, and then when they turn 30, the men are no longer interested in them, right? And then they start complaining and calling men shallow, and they're talking about
Coping
how
for
how
bad decisions and
yeah how unfair it is and stuff, and they become like utterly delusional. Like I mean I think I saw a video of some like 60-year-old woman on the whatever podcast who was still so delusional that she thought she was gonna snap up some millionaire, right?
some
And
cougar.
she looked like a total bridge troll, but she was so
Hmm.
delusional she thought that she could still snag a millionaire, a young man, right? And so let me reorient here. So yeah, these YouTubers, they're still approaching the issue as uh as feminists.
Well,
Um
and from a almost perspective of almost like men being inferior, because if you look at it, right, what are they saying? Women, you need to take responsibility for yourselves, and it's like this women fix society mentality.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's like um I had this I was able to articulate this beforehand, but now that I am on the air, I'm losing it kind of. But um like the Christian response to this is to um something is more along the lines of men have to like take the initiative and start telling women you're not going to have power anymore. You're not going to go to the same sort of schools that men go to. Obviously, it's perfectly fine for women to be educated, but there is no sane world in which men and women would would compete for the same sort of job. And that means that they wouldn't even go to the same sort of school, I think. I mean, things are so bad now. I don't know what other conclusion you could possibly come to. And
How delusional you are, but yeah.
yeah, and it's like I was thinking like one way to say it would be um, boys and girls shouldn't even be going to the same elementary school. The only reason that boys and girls should be going to the same elementary school is if your community is so poor they can't afford to have two separate schools for the boys and the girls.
Children are literally banging on the door over here. Well, my only thing with that is you do need men and women to be interacting with each other so that
That's
they can
true.
figure each other out.
Yeah.
That's when the only real. But I thought it interesting. Vox did a little article a while back about how AI and the modern way of doing things, like modern world, is making like brick and mortar schools basically obsolete.
Hmm.
Like with AI tutors and then being able to help everyone go at their own pace. You're boomers. Oh, hey, we brought it back to boomers. That's awesome. Boomers don't understand this. No need for the brick and mortar office anymore. No
Mhm.
need for it. It's just a massive expense that doesn't need to be there. And so, really, the workers of the future shouldn't be taught in little cubicles or taught in like the old Prussian style of you go to factory, you go to war mentality, right?
Mhm.
Um, that schooling system is not going to match the new coming world, which is like all online and online jobs and all this other stuff coming. I mean, more and more robotics. Like, there's literally jobs in Japan now. Like a convenience store worker works from home,
Go City.
and there's like he controls the robot in the store. That's how crazy it's gotten in Japan. So they're training them for a world that no longer exists,
Mhm.
and because the boomer thinks that the whole world revolves around them, how could they not have this extreme social space and all this other stuff, right? Where like no work gets done and everyone pretends to work in the office. I was getting wait, we were talking specifically about the men and women thing, though.
Mhm.
Sorry for tangentializing.
No, that's fine.
It,
Oh,
it
look, we've
comes to
got 4 viewers. That's great.
oh,
Hello, viewers.
hey
Feel
guys.
free to ask questions in the chat, and if I
Yep.
notice, we'll try to reply.
Yeah, I gotta share the link now.
But yeah, it is one of those things of if men really want the world to change, they have to just make a new world. This is sort of how it is. And,
Yep.
guys can say it's unfair, this unfair, that. I'm like, no, look, all right, women are different than men, and they are more natural followers. So you cannot do this thing where you want to follow the women. There are some women who can lead stuff, but even they tend to want an even more alpha male over them, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Not saying
Exactly.
right. Even the go-to women want a leader in their house over them. They might lead other people, but they want a leader in their own house.
Yep.
And until you can accept that and accept the extra responsibility that comes with that, well, it's interesting. I will give this Lord whatever dude some credit, right? He's stupid enough to not realize it, but he said incel culture. Like the women already are ignoring these young men. That's why it's an incel culture or whatever. Right?
Exactly. Yep.
They're latching on to guys like Tate and whatnot, and not coming to the full truth because of just that smidgen of truth that he mixes into his stuff. And then they want well, they get sucked into the rest of it, the fake masculinity, and that I should clarify, right? He imitates masculinity. That's
Yeah.
the funny part. It's kind
Mhm.
of like a tranny imitating a woman as a man, right? It's always this over exaggeration and not actually. Like, you could always see it when they're doing it too. Even if you run into those weird trannies who actually look like a woman with like a ton of makeup and surgeries and crap,
Uh-huh.
there's always like an exaggeration to their attempts to being feminine.
Exactly.
Also,
Yep.
their hips never match.
And the wrists. Roll in a dress.
And yeah, that's oh, and another sign if you're ever looking for these grifters that I realized, like especially in the gun sphere, if they're constantly putting their woman in bikinis in front of everybody and they're okay with that and they never have any kids with that woman, they're probably gay.
Yeah, I've had the same suspicion. The Black Rifle Coffee people.
Oh, right.
I'm looking at you.
Yeah. There's a lot of attractive women on this screen and yet no children being made. It's interesting.
You know, what's really terrible is that it isn't just like the boomers whose hair would be lit on fire by what we're talking about right now. I mean, there's plenty of people from subsequent generations who would be absolutely horrified to hear us talking about how like the men have to just the men have to lead and the women have to follow, and they'll hear that and they'll put words into your mouth, and they'll yeah. I mean, I've I've had people accuse me of like using violent rhetoric and stuff like that, and I'm like,
Ooh.
what? I just
I'm
said
very
we
violently
should.
yelling in your general direction, sir.
Yeah.
Boogie, boogie, boogie.
All right.
Good video. Oh wait, that's a tree.
I mean, on a positive note, though, that makes guys like us. This is part of the reason why we get suppressed a lot. Is when we say such inflammatory things that we just don't care. Gen Z is just attracted to that like a moth to a flame, like hardcore. And I know this with my time as a principal as well. It's really funny to me. The kids had no concept of like an adult like me who really didn't care that they called him bald.
Oh.
I'm like, yeah, this is reality. They couldn't grasp the concept that I would still be respected, like the boomers especially. Rather, they couldn't understand that you know, their insults weren't being disrespectful. It was
Yeah.
just what it was.
You have to value someone's opinion to be insulted by them.
Yeah, and there's that. It comes from that too, right? How obsessed they are with like bully culture, all this, all that, and there's this aspect of men where they have to insult each other. I know that's kind of, you can't have a good, healthy male culture without that insult, that jibe, the laughing back and forth, you know, what's, if I may just use the classic cliche, men insult you and don't mean it, even when it's true, and women compliment you and don't mean it.
Yes, exactly.
It's it's a fascinating little some concept that a lot of young men are just not getting anymore because of like the women nanny state that kind of comes in and goes, no, you can't insult each other, you can't be mean, you can't roughhouse,
Giving the special boy treatment.
you're so special. You're all special. And until they want you to do something, and then you're all useless incels.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Maybe we can move on to the next item on the list here. So you sent me an article from CNN. Mexicans protest Americans moving into their neighborhoods. Is that a video or an article?
I think it's a video, actually.
All right, let me see if I can share that. Okay, so set.
Man, your stream video here is really fancy. I gotta get me some of this.
Now, okay, our viewers can see that. Just let me share my screen with you. Video.
Oh, I'm watching it too. So, oh wow.
All right, let's play. All right, let's start playing. Feel free to interrupt whenever you want.
I feel like I'd be someone you'd want to work with for insurance needs now. But
With a remote job, U.S. citizen Aaron lives comfortably in Mexico City, a luxury he says he couldn't afford in Phoenix, Arizona, which he left 3 years ago.
in Phoenix, I wasn't able to save. I was living paycheck to paycheck, even with a well-paying job. Here, with that $2,000 a month, you make more than that, you're able to save that. Whereas in the U.S., you're really struggling at those income levels.
The high cost of living in the U.S.
Should probably pause every once in a while to avoid getting.
Oh yeah, stupid AI algorithms, man.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, Mexico's pretty cheap.
That sounds pretty good.
U.S. pushed 11,000 Americans to immigrate to Mexico last year.
Okay, whoa, pause. 11,000 last year. How many million of Mexicans have come up and we're not allowed to complain about them? Just thought I'd point that out. 11,000
Too many.
go down there and they lose their mind.
Have you seen Los Angeles lately?
To be fair, if 11,000 boomerish people and guys like this came, I might get mad too. But
Oh
continue.
boy.
Beyond the food, housing, and good weather, Aaron says now there are also political reasons to live abroad.
A lot of people have moved here because they can raise their family or kids here and not have to worry about gun violence in their schools.
Americans are the top group applying for residency in Mexico.
Huh?
I'm sorry for laughing. I just. They're moving for the gun violence, man. There's just too many guns. So they go to Mexico.
I missed that.
No cartels have guns in Mexico, right?
I don't know. I, I'm very happy to live very, very far away from Mexico.
Maybe some context. I grew up in Latin America, okay?
Oh, okay.
There's lots of guns down there. Not every citizen has them. But it's perfectly normal to like walk around the corner and you'll see like a bank guard with just a full cut-off shotgun just sitting there.
Uh
That,
huh.
by the way, he has not been trained at. He has no idea how to use, and he's probably going to kill you if he ever tries to use it.
Hmm.
it's, it was regular to see just AK-47s on cops or rent-a-cops, all kinds of stuff like that. And there's a lot of guns down there because of all the wars and stuff that have happened as well.
Didn't you get pulled over and asked if you had a gun?
I did. I laughed in that cop's face. That was pretty funny.
Hmm.
And I should also mention Mexico between World War One and World War Two, or it might have been a little before World War One. Excuse me. Literally had a war where they were trying to kill all their Catholics. The atheistic state was trying to genocide all the Catholics
In Mexico?
in Mexico.
Oh, I've never heard this.
Yeah, right. They covered it up pretty fast. There was a whole region in Mexico where a ton of Catholics were just getting murdered because they wanted to stay Catholic. A lot of people don't know that the upper elites in Mexico, you know how our elites are really weird? Well, their elites are really weird. They're obsessed with the old Aztec murder culture of sacrificing people, you know, the cutting out the hearts and all that.
Uh huh.
There's a whole problem with that. And I'd say I don't know if they're cutting out hearts now, but there's this whole weird thing in the Mexican zeitgeist about looking at that in their elites that the old religion was better than the modern one, and the Christianity holds them back and blah 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 and all this stuff. So maybe being not armed in Mexico might not be so good for your health, even without the cartels, since daddy government there has already done genocide against its own citizens. I feel like they might be a little more violent towards Whitey.
I can imagine.
Sorry. Segue done.
Mexico, according to the UN. And this trend is changing popular neighborhoods.
There's some parts of the city where I would have what you call would be like Little America, which is like Roma, Condesa, where you'll get menus that are in English. They'll greet you in English.
But a bargain for foreigners come at too high a cost for many locals.
Ya estamos pagando más de renta.
We're already paying higher rent, and people are starting to get pushed out. All my neighbors are Americans now. I'm the only Mexican left, and everyone who used to live here is moving to other neighborhoods.
Pretty ironic.
Have a bit of your own medicine there, Mexican boy. Cry me a river on the slowest violin.
With rents hitting $2,000 a month, more than most middle-class Mexicans earn monthly, long-time families are being priced out. Most foreigners who arrive in Mexico City often don't speak Spanish. That's why you'll see public signs like this offering lessons.
Do you speak Spanish?
No. French and English.
Oh my God, they don't.
In an effort to battle this displacement,
I mean, what was that about? This whole trend about, you know, people wanting people to speak English in America. What are you trying to say here, CNN?
Hmm. 'Tis a quandary.
Oh wow, this video's gold. I had no idea it was this good. I'm glad.
Have you ever watched
I
it?
didn't watch it at all. That was a
No?
bit of a risk, but I'm very entertained.
That wasn't a risk.
Mexico City's government has built 52 affordable homes in the area for indigenous communities.
El gobierno de la ciudad.
The city government has a public policy against gentrification. Gentrification means pushing out families who have roots in a neighborhood like Roma or Condesa and forcing them to leave.
Estoy harto de la gentrificación.
With frustrations
And I want to remind everyone, 11,000 immigrants. That's it. That's all it took to get the Mexicans to sound like MAGA people in Mexico.
That's too much.
I mean, how many hundreds of millions have we accepted from all over Latin America? I mean, hey, I'm actually for this. Mexico, 100%. I want to get our immigration below 11,000 a year. Mexico is a pretty big country. Well, I'll be fair. America's a bit bigger. 20,000 a year. Everybody else goes home.
Wishful thinking.
Right? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. President Trump has been saying something along the lines of there weren't any illegal border crossings in the past month or something. I don't know if that's true. If that is, that's.
That Epstein didn't exist or something like that, or
Oh yeah.
nothing or so. Color me a little. I don't know what about it says these
Can't,
days.
Yeah, can't believe anything these these days.
Oh man. I'm gonna have to... Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was just gonna say I have to write an article about this video later because this is awesome.
However, local leaders organized a protest on Friday against the effects these new arrivals are having on their town.
Surveillance video shows the moment a...
That's the end of that.
Oh, yeah, that is different.
It
I was
automatically.
like, whoa, did the Americans actually raise crime? What kind of Americans did we send their way? I'm a little. Gosh darn all those liberals going in and robbing cars in Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh. Ah. Well, that was a good if that video isn't a better argument for why immigration is just invasion, and a lot of people don't understand. Yes, very small amounts of immigration can be useful, specifically from countries that your country is biologically related to. So in the United States, it's actually a region-based thing. And that's because they did a lot of stupid immigration practices in the past. Like, a lot of people ignore the fact that one of the reasons why they say, why did they win the Civil War? Well, they had more production and more manpower. Why do they have those things? Because they allowed a wave of immigrants. They had been building their industry, but they also just allowed a huge wave of immigration in. There were entire divisions, like entire groups of soldiers of just Irish guys who are all put into an army and sent to the front to die. This changes the demographics because the original kind of mix-up of the 13 colonies was mostly British. Dutch, British, that kind of thing. Woo! Next one. I'll shut up if we need to move on. But basically, small amount of immigration from countries you're related to only.
So this next segment, this is a video from Carl Benjamin, also known as Sargon of Akkad, and I was trying to think of a pithy title for this segment, and I was thinking it would be something like news.
Gamer learns how to wear suit.
News sure to set Jews' hair on fire, because this is a like if the Jews want us all to behave like animals, this is white people behaving just about as far from animals as it's possible to behave. I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyway, this is
it's complicated enough. I like it.
This is Carl Benjamin. He's visiting the only elementary school in Great Britain that still teaches the what's it called? The I can't remember what it's called. It's classical education, basically. It's the only one in Britain that still upholds the standards of a classical education.
Okay.
Classical education. I'm at the King Alfred School for Classical Education. This is a private school in Derby, which is also a charity that is a really, really tiny place. But what they've done here is something that is actually quite unique in the country. They're the first to properly revive a truly classical education in the Victorian mold. And I'm so impressed with the results that they have generated already that I think that this should be expanded all across the country. But instead, Keir Starmer is going to shut it down. The King Alfred.
Yeah.
So this is really awesome. I mean, I believe the system he's talking about is called the Trivium, but I'm not an expert on that. It's like reading arithmetic and logic or something, and that's what the school focuses on. So like I think I remember my mom saying that when I was homeschooled, she gave us a classical education. But watching this video, this is a much more advanced education than what I got. But I mean, yeah, this is totally awesome. And of course, the British government is trying to shut it down through maybe not directly, but through regulations and stuff like that. Yeah.
Alfred School is a small private school in Dudley, West Midlands, that was founded in September 2021 by Tom and Hayley Bowen. Tom invited me to come and see the school, as what they have created here is a working example of the kind of classical education for which I have been advocating.
So the King Alfred School was founded off the back of a public meeting that my wife and I held in a church hall. So we hired a church hall and we put it to the local community.
Anyway, so yeah, this video is really cool. If you go to Sargon of Akkad's channel, you can watch it. And yeah, I mean, I don't know why Sargon is saying, we should expand this out to the entire public school system in Great Britain. It's like, my friend, the satanic government of Great Britain is never going to do this.
Well, and it would kind of highlight the fact that a certain amount of immigrants wouldn't be able to keep up with the studies.
Oh, yes.
They can't even keep up with their current studies.
Yeah. Like at this school, this is a Christian school. It's not just a classical education. It's a Christian school, and they do things like they memorize scripture. They sing psalms every morning, or maybe I don't know if it's psalms, but at least they sing hymns every morning. And yeah, there's no way that Keir Starmer, this member of this satanic elite would ever consider bringing this system to the public schools in Great Britain. They'd be more likely to immolate themselves like 1,000 years before they ever did this.
I mean, it would be really entertaining to watch them emulate themselves. Maybe that's the plan. Get them to put the education in place just so they light themselves on fire. I'd be really entertained to watch
Whoops.
all the yells about racism and stuff as all the less white individuals in these schools suddenly can't keep up with everything.
Yeah, I mean, your average leftist, upon looking at what this school does, their hair would light on fire because it's just so they call it, I don't know, fascist or Nazi or something, just because it's so awesome.
Get to the children. How dare somebody else teach the children anything about life?
Yeah.
I mean, and more than that too. Like my wife and I have worked with a lot of kids, and you'll find there's this whole with dysfunctional people. They have a very strong tendency when their kids start improving to take their kids away from the spot that's improving them. It's a really weird thing.
Well, it's because it shows them how bad of a person they really are.
So to have one school like this surviving,
yeah,
and showing all the other schools up, that's going to drive a lot of people nuts.
Yeah, and the way the government is like trying to close them down, it's things like they have regulations that if you have any student that's over 11 years old, you have to have a shower or something, and it's like weird stuff like that. And it's fine for big public schools to have laws like that, but for small schools it doesn't make any sense. Like they have to renovate the whole place in order to install a shower.
That's one thing I'll never understand from the boomer generation too. What is their obsession with making underage people shower together?
I don't know if it's that, but it's just unnecessary to like.
Yeah, it's really unnecessary and kind of disgusting, to be honest. I don't know. I've always thought it very strange. My school, though it technically had a shower, we never used it, and we never had a problem. We were living in freaking the tropics, dude.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, you can't say that we weren't nasty at the end of the day, even without physical education. Sorry. I know that's not exactly the point, but I just found it interesting how they demand that there's a shower, even if it's not necessary or needed. Very satanic,
Yep.
government-like.
Superb. When the teacher started asking them, well, when did I can't even remember which Roman emperor it was that invaded, and I was staggered that the kids just correct, and even knew who, say, Caraticus was, and even knew what Caraticus had said to the emperor. It wasn't Claudius. I can't even remember which emperor it was.
Yeah. Anyway, so these kids, they're elementary school students, and they're learning about all these very obscure, ancient political figures, and the arguments that they had and stuff like that, and it's so amazing. I mean, I remember I was reading Machiavelli's commentaries on I don't know, some ancient Greek.
Commentary on Livy, I think.
Which one?
Livy. I think he did it on Livy.
Oh yes, yeah. I was reading that, and I was on a road trip with like my nieces and nephews, and they're getting a classical education, right? And not from this school; they're homeschooled and not in Great Britain. But anyway, my niece, who's like, I don't know how old she is, grade 7 or something, she knew what I was talking about with Machiavelli's commentaries on Livy, and she hadn't just read. She actually hadn't read Machiavelli's commentaries on Livy. She'd read Livy.
Even better.
Yeah, and I was like, my goodness, you are so educated.
Actually makes me really jealous. And a lot of people don't understand. This is how you get young men interested in history. Like the ones who are going to get interested in it. And people don't understand the part of the reason why history and stuff like that is kind of fallen by the wayside is they feminized it, right? No longer are you talking about the politics and the wars and all that stuff and how many guys died here, why they died, and this whole flowing narrative about history. What are they always talking about? They're talking about, oh, what pottery they use, or what narrative can they attach to the modern day, and all this stuff, and they barely skim over. I remember in my history book, they spent paragraphs talking about agriculture, and then like pages sometimes on it, and then like one little snippet about World War II, which was what I was really interested in at the time.
Uh-huh.
And so if you bring more of this stuff in, you're going to naturally get more men interested in reading and history and all that.
Yeah, about military history and stuff like that.
Well, like that, like you were bringing up, like he was bringing up the different emperors arguing, right? That was Benjamin. The different emperor arguments, whatnot, that always led to war in the Roman period anyway. Or then, I don't want to talk about Livy because I don't know enough about him, which kind of angers me because I got other books when I was being studied upon. I got to read things like about a Mexican immigrant who was mad that she was in America.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say I didn't get some good stuff. Like there was some Chronicles of Narnia in there and stuff. But they made me read Hawthorne, which I think is incredibly overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Scarlet Letter is just a propaganda tool. I'll fight people on that one. I don't care. It's overwritten, overdramatic, and has a really stupid concept in it. And also feminism.
I don't think I've ever read Hawthorne. Somehow I avoided that growing up. I did have to read like Frankenstein 5 billion times.
I'm trying to think of all the books that they had us read in class. Tale of Two Cities was a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a hard read, but it's a good one.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
I had fun quoting
that. And then everyone got their head cut off.
Yeah. I had fun quoting that one on Sunday school, and they always kind of looked at me in confusion. I'm like, wow, you at least know the quote.
Classic English history texts, which formed the basis of Victorian education,
Oh,
right
yeah.
through until
Yeah,
the
he's talking about the trivium. It's
Right.
the seven liberal arts and comprises grammar, logic, and rhetoric. So that's that somehow organizes the classical education.
Oh, I like them learning logic and rhetoric right off the bat.
Yeah, he made
No wonder-
some point about modern schools. They don't actually teach logic. They teach something that's called critical thinking, which is a joke.
which isn't thinking, and it's not very critical.
Yeah, no one who goes through the public school system in anywhere in the Western world knows what critical thinking is. It's
Well,
indoctrination into how to be good little workers.
Basically, make them memorize a bunch of information that was all a bunch of lies anyway.
Yeah.
Oh man, and there used to be a time where they'd at least teach some math in there that worked.
Discover an
Sorry.
But
Stupid
no
ads.
longer, now that the propaganda's taken over and the freaking social justice warrior nonsense and woke nonsense is gone, it's full circle. Now, right, they don't even care to make decent engineers anymore because they're waiting for it all to fall apart anyway.
Yep.
this model everywhere. There's no reason that the school couldn't be the blueprint for the new wave of state schools. There's absolutely nothing preventing the state from actually employing this kind of curriculum and this kind of...
I mean, man, Sargon is really excited about this, but I mean, I don't... I mean, it would be... I don't really understand why he's making a big deal about this. Like I've been saying, the satanic state of Great Britain, government of Great Britain, is never going to do this. They don't want white people behaving this way. They want white people behaving like animals.
They want everybody behaving like animals.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see Sargon so enthusiastic about this, but I don't know what.
Well, maybe it'll wake him up, if I can use the term. It's one of those things of he's technically not wrong. There is no reason why they couldn't do it, but they definitely won't.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see him so enthusiastic about something, I guess.
ethos towards education, towards students, towards the transmission of culture and knowledge, and setting up these schools around the country. There's no reason it has to be a private school. It's only it has to be a private school now because the state is not prepared to do this, because this is not what they consider to be a quote-unquote progressive education. But I can't help but notice that a progressive education means the dumbing down and reduction of everyone, everywhere, all the time. So to the point now, I mean, the best example is actually given in Netflix's Adolescence. Remember the school that's presented to us?
Have you heard about that?
No, I could already guess what they're going to talk about, though.
Yeah, it was a drama about a prepubescent boy who's an incel who murders a female classmate, and anyway, it made a great stir in Great Britain a few weeks or a few months ago, and
prepubescent incel. I mean, isn't the term incel can't apply to a pupil?
Exactly. I mean, it didn't make any sense. It didn't. Yeah, it was
by definition, they're not into women yet. So
yeah.
How can you be an incel?
Yeah. Anyway, it was kind of bizarre because it was it went so far into social justice, it sort of looped around into being based again, because
okay, yeah,
it just portrays the public school system in a fairly accurate way, and it portrays it as being absolute
garbage,
absolutely horrible. Yeah. Anyway, that's a totally different topic.
No, it's related though. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, go ahead, keep doing.
I think that's I'll call it quits now. All right. Well, we got a few viewers. That was nice. Make sure to like and subscribe. And I guess we'll go for a few minutes now and just do a bit of an outro. Plug our own projects. I'm ArtGainz. I am an aspiring science fiction and fantasy author. Currently, at the moment, I'm working on a fantasy novel about a Christian knight in fairyland who goes around stomping on the skulls of goblins and fairies and other wicked magical creatures. It's called Red Thralls. Hopefully I will get that finished pretty soon. I have one novel published already on Amazon. It's called The Screaming Void. It is about a crew of space truckers. I'm pretty sure that sounds familiar to you, but I'm not ashamed. I stole the premise from Alien. But anyway, it's my own take on a similar theme. The link is in the description. I think you might like it. And I have several channels. There's this channel, which is technically my art channel, but I also have a culture channel, which this video will be uploaded to later. And I should also have a vineyard channel starting soon, documenting my process of becoming a vineyard person, whatever you call that, a vine dresser.
Sure.
All right.
Ooh, can I call you a vineyard baron?
Vineyard baron.
Yes.
Sure, whatever you want. All right, and joining me in this live stream has been Aaron Doudy, also known as RPGrizzly, and I'll turn this over to him so he can tell you about his various projects and whatever else he wants to say, I guess.
I'm a little intimidated. There's a lot of things I might say, but yes, current project right now. I'm a writer as well. YouTube channels. I forget what my YouTube. You find my YouTube channels are like RPGrizzly stuff and whatnot. I have a Substack, and I'm currently working on a book that is oddly similar to ArtGainz in the sense that it's a paladin stomping on things and evil and whatnot, and trying to save the world from legions of undead. And yeah, that's Tales from the Dead Sector, Gods of Science and Sin. You can check out the Kickstarter. Another week on that. It's going to be a good time.
Yes, please do that. I'm definitely intrigued by the story. Sounds like it has a good premise from what I've heard of it. And
you can try before you buy. If you go to the Kickstarter, I leave links there to where I am releasing it episodically.
Look at this. We're signing off, and suddenly we get a whole bunch more viewers. This makes total sense.
Yes.
Well, maybe they'll rewind and watch us in the replay. That'll be nice.
Quick, find a boomer to attack. What do we do?
More bang for your buck. All right.
Back points.
All right.
All right. So, yeah, we'll be back. I presume before too long.
Sure.
I guess I will see if I can be back tomorrow doing a gaming live stream. I've been playing through Still Wakes the Deep, which is about a deep what do you call it? A drilling platform.
Deep sea stuff. Okay.
In the Scottish seas, and they encounter a cosmic entity of some kind. And it's more of a walking simulator than a game, but it's still pretty fun.
Hey, well, if you're ever gonna play a real game, you should live stream Helldivers 2 with me sometime.
Oh, it's a possibility. I'll keep that in my back pocket.
You know you want to. Xbox is coming into it soon.
You're doing a gaming stream.
The game where you die a lot.
That's dangerous.
It's good. You gotta fight all the commie robots.
Okay, so let me see if I can wrap this up. Once again, I'm ArtGainz, and I'm here with Aaron Doudy. And we've been talking mostly about how horrible boomers are, and I'm sure we'll be back before too long with another set of topics, which hopefully you'll find very interesting and inspire you to like and subscribe and share with all your friends. All right, have a good evening. Signing off.
See you guys later.